Okay, cue up the next video. So the next video we have here isn't by Autism Speaks, but kind of the same idea, kind of the same organization, just different, I guess. They're a different organization, but same idea. So the video is called What's Up with Nick? So let's check this out.
There's nothing like the first day of school.
Holy shit, what the hell is that? That is fucking scary as shit. Am I in Dante's ninth circle of hell right now? Because, yeah, I think I am in Dante's ninth circle of hell. Seriously, for all the money these organizations get, they cannot hire a decent animator to draw something that does not look like a demon. Come on, seriously. This isn't a video a kid threw together for his high school class or whatever, where you shouldn't really make fun of that, like high school kids work, but still, this is like $1 million organization here that gets thousands of dollars in donations, and they can't even afford to hire a decent animator and not make this shit look creepy? Oh my gosh.
New clothes, new classes, new friends. This year, a kid named Nick came to our school.
Yeah, Nick just seems like such a dream.
At first, he seemed a little different. Sometimes during class, Nick makes noises and gets out of his seat.
Holy shit, Nick just dropped the freaking acid. Oh my gosh, he's dancing all over the place. Oh my gosh, he must have dropped that Molly, man. Yeah, if you seriously, I'm just gonna stop the joke here, but if you are getting up and making noises and stuff, like dancing and shit, like, honestly, I understand the noises. A lot of people make noises whenever they're stressed out, and especially with autistic people, but if you have the urge to get up and start dancing and stuff, maybe you should see your counselor about that so you can do that in an area where it doesn't distract other people. You know, it kind of seems like you're trying to normalize it in a sense. I don't know, like, it isn't nothing wrong to do, but like, there's definitely a place for that sort of thing if you want to cope that way.
There's a lady that sits in our classroom and follows Nick around, and even takes him out of class when he's distracting us.
Yeah, it's called a student aid. That's what it's called. I have one of those. It's not really a shock, to be honest here. Have you not noticed that? Like, I think that a number of students, even at my school, to be honest, would notice that there would be somebody that would be in my class to help me out. Like, it's not really that much it doesn't really take a rocket scientist to put this shit together. It's 2 plus 2, you know? Like, yeah, it can be confusing, but all you have to do is ask if you're curious about it. To be honest, if somebody is autistic and they are in your classroom and they have that, just ask. I really don't think that they would be offended by you asking. It's not really that big of a deal to have somebody in your class to help other students out, even if it's just to help one student who's autistic, you know? So, it's not really that big of a deal. Plus, distracting you, what if he's distracted by you guys and he needs a break from that sort of shit, to be honest? Like, you know, you're kind of assuming what his problem is, you know?
We didn't understand why Nick got to take breaks or why he got to spend all this time with one teacher. My friends and I thought, what's up with Nick? It turns out, Nick has autism.
Excuse me. You stash your drugs in a lupus textbook. It's never lupus.
Nick has had autism since he was little. Autism happens inside the brain. This doesn't mean Nick is sick with something like the flu. You can't catch autism.
I don't know, kid. What about those vaccines? I mean, those definitely cause autism. Definitely. That's a proven fact. What are you talking about? I mean, it can be caught like the flu if you get that one needle injected into your arm. I mean, yeah, definitely. Vaccines definitely cause cancer. Confirmed 2017, you know? So, to be on the safe side, children who are watching this, do not get vaccinated. Okay, I'm obviously joking, but, yeah, a lot of people do think that it can be caught like the flu or vaccines cause autism. To be frank, no, to be honest, it can't be caught. They are correct on that one.
Hi, I'm Penn, and this is my partner, Teller. You may have heard vaccination causes autism in 1 out of 110 children. Fuck that. Total bullshit. It doesn't. But let's imagine it does. We'll compare 2 groups of children. Teller's group gets no vaccinations. My group does. I'll use this plexiglass to represent the vaccinations. Oh, that's bad. My vaccination wall knocked 1 of the children out of line. That's our 1 in 110 with autism. In the 1920s, before the diphtheria vaccination was common, there were 13 to 15,000 deaths a year from that disease. If you got it, your chances of dying were about 40%. In 1952, just before the Salk vaccine became common, there were about 58,000 cases of polio. If you get unlucky, you might end up permanently disabled or dead. Meningitis, hepatitis A and B, flu, mumps, whooping cough, pneumonia, rotavirus, rubella, smallpox, tetanus, chickenpox. Chickenpox. We have vaccinations against all of them. Which side do you want your child to stand on? So even if vaccination did cause autism, which it fucking doesn't, anti-vaccination would still be bullshit.
Just means that he understands some things differently than most of us. Once we learned a little more about Nick and autism, we understood why he gets extra attention. He just needs a little more help than the rest of us sometimes. The lady following him around is his aide. She's there to help him in the classroom. Sometimes small things bother Nick because his senses, hearing, sight, smell, touch, and taste, all work differently than ours. Like when we work on projects, we try to keep our voices down because Nick has trouble focusing if it gets too loud. As we got to know him, we learned what we can do to make it better for Nick so he can stay in class with us. Other kids with autism in your school might have similar challenges. The best way to help them is by getting to know them. Autism affects each person differently.
Yes, autism does affect people differently on an individual basis, but the character of Nick, I can really sense earlier, was what you were trying to get the idea of, like, how can we represent the idea of autism or the concept of autism? So you created this character, this cartoon character, to try to have people understand it while just perpetuating a lot of stupid-ass stereotypes about autism, and then you try to cover your ass by saying, not every autistic person is like this. Well, why couldn't you say that earlier? Or why couldn't you just not use the idea of Nick and just explain the truth to people? I don't know.
No two kids with autism are the same. Some kids will talk with you, but not look at you. Others won't talk much, but will try to use other ways to tell you what they want to say. Some kids with autism may flap their arms or even rock back and forth. It may seem strange at first, but it's just something that makes them comfortable. Nick really likes building and talking about model airplanes. He even brought one in to show us how the propeller works. It was pretty cool. Sometimes, though, Nick doesn't stop talking about model airplanes. We listen because it's polite, but learn that it's okay to suggest new activities too.
Yeah, it isn't wrong to say to somebody who's been going on for things about hours and hours, hey, you might want to stop talking about model airplanes. It's not wrong whatsoever, you know? It's not wrong. You know, but the idea of, oh, it's polite to listen. Yes, it's polite to listen, but you have the choice if you want to listen or not. You are not entitled to listen to him. Neither is he entitled to have you listen, you know? Rights exist in that negative context. So, yeah, if he's been talking about it for a long time, be nice and say, hey, can we talk about something else or whatever? That's okay, but just this phrasing is just a little bit too vague in my opinion.
Some of us from class joined the art club together, and we invited Nick. He mostly draws pictures of planes, but we still have fun doing the projects together. Remember that you can always include your friend with autism in activities.
Yes, it's okay to include anyone, regardless if they have autism or not. They're not a fucking leper. They're not somebody with a contagious disease. You can have them involved in your activities. If you don't want to, that is okay. You're not obligated as a person, or you're not obligated to have them in your activities. But you can invite them. It's nice, but it doesn't really matter, you know? It's okay. It's okay. It's nice to invite people to do things, but the idea of, oh, you have to do this or whatever, it's a bit stupid in my opinion. If you don't want somebody in your group for any reason or whatever, that's whatever. If you really don't want somebody in your group because they're autistic, you know something, that group might be a shitty group, but you have a right to do that. You have a right. It sucks for people with autism, but guess what? You are not obligated to have them in your group. And that's coming from an autistic person here. But, yeah, let's move on with this.
Is the first step to becoming friends and having fun together.
Well, that wasn't as bad as the other videos. At least at the end, they tried to say that, hey, everybody's different in some way, and that doesn't mean that it's a lot more better than the whole trying to make autism seem like this whole tragic thing, you know, the whole Autism Speaks thing. But, yeah, I think these videos were, on their own, I think most of them were very inaccurate, but some have their strengths and weaknesses. I will get to the I Am Autism video, but that deserves its own video on its own. Believe it or not, I want to make it its own video because, yeah, I really do want to do that because the I Am Autism video is just so freaking dramatic, over the top, that it just needs its own video. It's like the Christopher Walken of autism videos. It's just so over the top. But, hope you guys liked the video. Have a great week. This was a wonderful video to make. Really, I like opening up about this sort of thing. And, it was actually pretty cool because usually all these would be free videos on its own, but hell, free for the price of one. Am I right? Please like and subscribe and, recommend this channel to your friends. Gotta go. Bye.